1 minute, ma. I will have the mute tab. Yes. Functionality testing, the first one is smoke testing, ma. What is smoke testing means? Checking, right, ma? Verifying whether the received build is kadama, the received build is stable or not. How you are checking? Okay, by checking with the basic functionality. This is the definition. Okay, basic functionality, that is login. Okay, that is called smoke testing. This is the first functionality testing. Which is the first functionality testing means smoke testing is the first functionality testing. I will write it here. Okay, smoke testing is the first functionality testing. Okay, what is the purpose of the smoke testing means? It is used to check whether the received build, whatever the build we are getting from the developer is there now, it is stable or not, it is correct or not. But how you are confirming it means by checking with the basic functionality. URL check చేసుకుంటారు, basic functionality ఏది లాగిన్ అవుతున్నామా లేదా, ఈ two things check చేసుకున్న తర్వాత we will confirm that the build is stable. Given build is stable, that is called smoke testing, ma. Yes, right, ma? Yesterday we have seen that. Okay, smoke testing is also called as, what is that, ma? Another point. Okay, smoke testing is also called as what, ma? Build verification testing, we will say. Yes, ma, please, this is the definition. Build ni verify chestunama correct kada ani, so that's why it is called as build verification testing. Okay na, ma? So this is called, when the interviewer is asking what is smoke testing means, we have to say this thing. Okay, verifying whether the whether the received build is stable or not by checking with the basic functionality, sir, login functionality. Okay, you can say this. This is called smoke testing, sir. We have to say. Next one, what we have discussed, positive or negative, right, ma? Positive or negative testing we have discussed, right, ma? So what is this positive or negative testing, please? Positive testing means checking kadama, checking a functionality, oka functionality ni ela check chestunnamo by checking, what we checking a functionality with a valid inputs ante correct inputs anamata, correct values pass chesi. Okay na, ma? So valid inputs is called as what, ma? Positive testing ani antamu. Okay, negative testing now, checking a functionality with the invalid inputs is called as what, ma? Negative testing ani antaru, please. This is the thing. Okay, we know that, right, nama? So negative means invalid inputs pass chesi. Okay, nama? Now positive negative testing is also called as input domain testing. This testing is also called as what, ma? Input domain testing ani antaru. Why it is called as input domain testing? Here we are testing a functionality by with a different inputs. So that's why it is called as input domain testing. Okay, na, ma? Yes, ma. Pooja, are you there?
Yeah, ma.
Now, ma. Now we'll see this testing, ma, different types here. Now please, that is called retesting, ma. Retesting means only the defected functionality again and again if you test it, then it is called as retesting. Okay, so next one, regression testing. Regression means what, ma? Not only the defected functionality, if you check overall functionality మనం చెక్ చేస్తే కనుక వాటిని ఏమంటామంటే మా రిగ్రెషన్ అని అంటారు, రైట్? we have seen that yesterday. Okay, validating the entire functionality, okay, along with the defected functionality. Defected functionality kaakunda overall functionality. Please, we have to mute, ma. Manendra, you have to mute yourself, everyone. Yes, ma, fine. Okay, not only the defected functionality, we are checking the overall functionality, entire functionality. Are they working properly or not? Because of the modified build, because of the modified code which is done by the developer. For that reason, we are validating entire functionality, including the defected one. Okay, entire function along with the defected functionality. Okay, enduku to check it is impacting kadama, it is getting impact on okay other functionalities or not, that for that reason. ఎందుకు ఓవరాల్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ చెక్ చేయాలని అడిగితే కనుక బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు రిఫ్లెక్ట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు ఇంపాక్ట్ ఆన్ అదర్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ ఆర్ నాట్. టు చెక్ దట్ ఓన్లీ సార్ వీ నీడ్ టు చెక్ ఓవరాల్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ ఇంక్లూడింగ్ డిఫెక్టెడ్ వన్ అని చెప్పాలి. సో దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ వాట్ మా, ఈస్ కాల్డ్ రిగ్రెషన్ టెస్టింగ్. Okay nama, so that is called regression testing. We have seen, okay, that is called regression testing ma. Is this any doubt ma? We have completed up to this in yesterday's class, right? Now we'll start another type now, database testing ma. Yes ma, database testers also will be there, separate team will be there. Okay, functional testing team will be separate will be there, functional non-functional separate team will be there, database testing, security testing, API testing separate team will be there. If the testers know, yes, if the testers know the database testings also including, then they will handle both at a time, functionalities and also the database. Now come to this database testing ma. See here, find ma data. Database and enti ma, it's a collection of data which whatever the data you are entering from the front end application, it will get stored where? It will get stored in the database. Related tables will be stored, will be created inside a particular database. Okay, by using MySQL, by using Oracle, okay, servers. Okay, now we will be storing our data in the database. Okay, so whatever the data we are entering from the front end application, those data have to be stored in some place. That is called as database. Yes ma. How it is getting
regression testing once you explain, ma'am?
Yes ma. Bhargavi, are you absent in yesterday's class?
Yes ma'am.
Yes sir. Regression testing means డిఫెక్ట్ వచ్చిన ఫంక్షనాలిటీనే కాకుండా ఓవరాల్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీని చెక్ చేస్తే కనుక ఇంక్లూడింగ్ ద డిఫెక్టెడ్ వన్, దెన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ రిగ్రెషన్ టెస్టింగ్ వి విల్ సే. Okay, so for suppose we have how many functionalities, for example in our new software we have 20 functionalities. Okay, in these 20 functionalities you found a defect in fourth functionality. You found a defect in what ma? Fourth functionality lo defect found, you have found. Then what happens now? What you will do, you will assign this defect to the whatever the function defect you have found, you will assign this defect to the developer. Okay, then what the developer is going to do, he is going to what ma, and he is going to fix the defect. How is going to fix the defect? He is modifying the code. He is modifying the code. Okay, so during fixing the defect he is modifying the code which is already written. Because of these modifications which he is done, okay, due to that defect, then what happens ma? What the developer will do now after modifying the code, what the developer will do? Developer will assign this modified build ani antam, code ani antam, modified build ani antam. Okay, na developer will assign this modified build to the testing team again. Why? Because to check it. Okay, at the time of checking, okay, on the modified build, how the testers are performing, how the testers are doing testing in regression testing means, okay, not only he will check not only this fourth functionality lo kada manaku defect ochindi. So fourth functionality ne kaakunda, okay, not only this fourth functionality, okay, tester will check remaining. How many remaining are there? 16 functionalities. Okay, also ఎందుకు మళ్ళీ అన్ని చెక్ చేయాలి మేడం అంటే కనుక, because of these modifications done by the developer during fixing that defect what you have identified, is those getting reflected on other functionalities or not? Because of that fixing, it is going to affect on the working functionalities or not. For that confirmation kosam, you are checking overall functionalities. Any functionalities are 20 functionalities kuda, including the defected functionality, you need to test it again. That is called as regression. Yesterday we have seen ma, we have told ma. Okay, so that is called as regression testing. But retesting ante enti, fourth functionality lo manaku defect ochindi kabatti, you will check the fourth functionality only again and again. Entavaraku again and again you will check till that fourth functionality defect will get rectified. Okay, here in retesting we won't touch other functionalities. we will test only the fourth functionality. Why? Because we got the defect in that functionality only. Remaining functionalities you won't touch. Okay. Functionality defect gets closed. Again, testing is retesting. Regression means along with the defected functionality, we will be checking functionalities so that modifications done by the developer is going to affect on or not. To confirm that only we are doing regression. Regression lo anni functionalities check chestam, including defected one. Okay, so that is
fourth functionality modify అయిపోయింది. సో మోడిఫైడ్ ది అప్డేట్ ఉంటది కదా మ్యామ్, మళ్ళీ పాతది ఉండదు కదా.
అవును కదమ్మా, పాతది ఉండేది కదమ్మా. సో కోడ్ చేసిన తర్వాత అందుకే చెప్తున్నాము మోడిఫైడ్ బిల్డ్ అని అంటున్నాం. కోడ్ చేంజ్ చేసిన తర్వాత టెస్టర్స్ ఏం చేస్తారు, ఈ ఫోర్త్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీనే టెస్ట్ చేస్తారు మళ్ళీ. ఓకేనా? ఈ ఫోర్త్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ టెస్ట్ చేస్తూ రిమైనింగ్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ పైన ఎఫెక్ట్ వస్తుందా లేదా అని చెప్పి రిమైనింగ్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ కూడా చెక్ చేయడం. ఓకే, ఓవరాల్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ చేస్తాం అనమాట రిగ్రెషన్ లో. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ రీ కి రిగ్రెషన్ కి. ఎస్ మా. Now coming to next one, fifth one. Whatever the data you are inserting from the front-end application, okay, that data is properly inserted or not in the back-end. To check that only database testing is there. Okay, database testing ante enti ma? What are the data you are inserting in the front-end application? Database testing. Okay, whatever the data you are inserting from the front-end application, that data is properly getting stored or not in the back-end. To check that only, to validate the database, for that only database testers will be there in the company. Okay, so that during database testing we can perform the below types of testing. What are those below type of testings? Means actually in that database testing we are going to check ani cheppandi. We are going to check or perform what type of operations means ma? Crude operations we will be performing here. Yes please. Database testing lo okay crude operations perform chestamu. Okay, C stands for creation. Okay, now oka kotta new database are we able to create or not? New table is able to create or not? Okay, inside the database how the data will get stored means ma? In the form of table. Okay, we are going to store the data. Inside the database. Database lo data ela store avutundi ma? Tables create chesi rows and column wise. Okay, now like that only we are storing our data inside the database. Okay, what all the tables you have, if you want to create a new table, then C, creation you need to do first of all. Okay, C stands for creation. Creating a new database, C. Okay, that is creation. R, what all the data you are stored inside the database, if you want to get those data from the database, that is called retrieval. Retrieval means getting the stored data from the database is called as a retrieval operation we will perform. Next, U stands for updation. What all the data you have stored inside the database, okay, are we able to modify correctly or not? To check that only, that is called updation. Okay, next stand D. D is nothing but a deletion. Okay, if any record is deleted from the front-end application, are those record is deleting correctly or not in the back-end? Okay, to verify that deletion operation is there. Okay, so E4 operations ne manamu check chestama database testing lo. Okay, so see here crude operations plays very important role. Creation, retrieval, updation and deletion. E4 operations proper ga work avutunnaya leda onto the database. To test that only database testers will be there in the company. Okay, so see here. So we will test below type of testings in database testing lo. What are those means? Data validation. Validation means validating what all the data you are inserting into the database is correct or not. Okay, for suppose I have one student form. Okay, I have this name section marks as a columns. Name section marks as a columns in the student table. And here I am storing the values like AB, A section, 90 as a marks. And when I click the submit button, this data is correctly storing in the student database or not. You will be checking. Okay, after inserting the data into the database, checking whether the data is correctly inserted or not. That is called as data validation. Validating whether the data is properly inserted or not into the database is called what ma? Data validation ani antaru. Okay na? So from the front end form, what all the data you are saving into the database, it is correctly saved or not, it is correctly inserted or not into that particular database only, into that particular table only. That checking is called as data validation ani antunnam. Okay na? So ఎలా మేడం టెస్ట్ చేయాలి అంటే we will be connecting with the database server and we will be writing some queries, SQL statements, okay, and we will be executing them. Okay, database testing in the automation we will see that. Okay, so in automation we will be checking with the commands here. Okay, yes ma, we will see in automation clearly in database testing ma. Now data integrity, another type of database testing lo edante ma data integrity. Integrity means whatever from the front end part, front end view, that modifications are reflecting in the database correctly or not. To check that only, that is called data integrity. In this type of testing, update existing data. Modification చేస్తున్నాం, already store అయిన data ni modify చేస్తున్నారు. Whatever the data you are modifying, that is correctly reflecting in the back end or not. Suppose in the student form, I have changed the marks to 80, 85 to 80, 85 is there, 90, 90 to 80 ki nenu modify chesanu. AB marks I have changed to 80. When I click the submit button, this marks should get updated properly in so and so database. That checking is called as data integrity. Whether the updations are properly reflecting or not in the backend is called as data integrity ani antam. Okay na ma? So that is what my data validation means, insertion. Data integrity means updation. Now data volume testing, another type of testing is there ma? Data volume testing is there. So data volume means checking the capacity of the database. Ela madam check chestamante by inserting sample data into the database, you are checking the capacity, memory of the database. That is called as data volume testing. How to check means by inserting a sample data into it. Okay, and checking the capacity of the database. That is called as data volume testing. Madam ikkada updation lo chepparu, deletion cheyalama. Yes, if I from the front end application, if I deleted a particular record, that record is correctly deleting or not from the database. If you check that, then it is called as data deletion. Okay, and updation, data insertion. Okay, what all the record you are trying to get from the database, that record only you are able to get or not is called as data retrieval operation. Okay, if you want to know your marks from the result page, okay na, from so and so website, when you are trying to fetch your result, that result only, okay na, you are getting or not. That is called data retrieval operation. Okay na ma? So that is what ma database testing gurinchi. Ikkada theory maatrame we are mentioning, but in practically we will see in automation. We can see this database testing through automation only. Why? Because we need to write the queries. We need to write the queries to perform these CRUD operations. We need to write the code. Okay. So at that time, automation is needed. Coding won't comes in manual testing. If you want to do manually means you need to connect with the database manually. Okay na, coding తో లేకుండా మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్, మాన్యువల్ లో డేటాబేస్ టెస్టింగ్ పర్ఫార్మ్ చేయాలంటే ఎలా చేస్తారు? డేటాబేస్ కనెక్షన్ తో మీరు లాగిన్ క్రెడెన్షియల్స్ ఇచ్చేస్తారు డేటాబేస్ కి. ఓకేనమ్మా, ఒరాకల్ డేటాబేస్, MySQL డేటాబేస్ మీకు కనెక్షన్స్ డీటెయిల్స్ ఇచ్చేస్తారు. ఆ కనెక్షన్ డీటెయిల్స్ మీరు కనెక్ట్ అయ్యి డేటాబేస్ లో ఫ్రమ్ ద ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ అప్లికేషన్, when you are clicking submit button, then you will open the database server and you will be checking manually it is inserting or not. ఓకేనా, ఆ డేటాబేస్ ట్యాబ్ ఇంకో ట్యాబ్ లో ఓపెన్ చేసి డేటాబేస్ సర్వర్ కనెక్ట్ అయ్యి డేటాబేస్ ఓపెన్ చేసి యూ విల్ బి చెకింగ్ మాన్యువల్లీ ఓన్లీ. ఈ డేటా నేను డిలీట్ చేశాను, ఈ డేటా డిలీట్ అయిందో లేదా మాన్యువల్ గానే చెక్ చేయడం వితౌట్ రైటింగ్ ద కోడింగ్ పార్ట్. ఓకే, సో అప్డేట్ చేసాము డేటా, ఆ డేటా అనేది అప్డేట్ అవుతుందా లేదా మాన్యువల్ గానే డేటాబేస్ కనెక్ట్ అయ్యి ఇఫ్ యూ చెక్ ఇట్ దెన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ as డేటాబేస్ టెస్టింగ్ యాజ్ ఎ మాన్యువల్. ఓకే, సో మా మాన్యువల్ గా అయితే కుదరదమా. సో విల్ బి రైటింగ్ ద కోడ్, ఆటోమేషన్ హెల్ప్ తీసుకుంటాము డేటాబేస్ టెస్టింగ్ కి. ఓకేనా. సో దట్స్ వై కంపల్సరీ we will be having the coding part, and we will see this database testing clearly, how to connect with the database, how to perform the CRUD operations clearly at the time of automation. Okay, why? Because we will be writing the query here. Okay, so that is called ma database testing gurinchi. Now another type ma exhaustive testing, please. Exhaustive testing means, what is that exhaustive testing ma? Sixth one, exhaustive. ఎగ్జాస్ట్ అవ్వడం అని అంటారు కదా చూడమా, ఎప్పుడు మా ఎగ్జాస్ట్ అవుతారు? ఓకేనమ్మా. సో బియాండ్ ద లిమిట్, రైట్? బియాండ్ ద లిమిట్ అయితే కనుక ఎగ్జాస్ట్ అవుతారు. ఓకేనా. ఎగ్జాస్టివ్ టెస్టింగ్ మీన్స్ టెస్టింగ్ ఏ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ. ఓకే, ఫంక్షనాలిటీ ఎలా టెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నామంటే మా టెస్టింగ్ ఏ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ, ఓకే, with all possible inputs, okay, is called as exhaustive testing ani antaru. With all possible inputs is called as exhaustive testing. What is that, madam? Means, see here, for example, exhaustive testing, for example ma, with all possible inputs ela madam ante example here refer cheyandi ma. I have taken a bank application. This includes account number, IFSC code, balance, submit button. Okay, to test the account number, how many digits will be there, ma? 11 digits will be there. Okay, in 11 combinations, you will test it properly. Okay, 11 combinations తో 11 digits యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి రేంజ్ ఇక్కడ తక్కువనే ఉంది. రేంజ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ అకౌంట్ నంబర్ ఈస్ 11 digits. It is allowing. Okay, so to check these 11 digits within a 10 minutes, within a 5 minutes, it is enough to test that with different ways. Okay. Now come down. IFSC code. IFSC code includes how many digits? 6 digits. Checking this 6 digits with the different combinations. It is also within a less time you can possible. It is possible. Okay. No problem with that. Here account number, IFSC code, I am testing with the different combinations here with all possible values. Since the range of account number and IFSC is less. Okay. So that's why we are able to perform different combinations here, with all possible combinations of those 11 digits, of those 6 digits. But whereas balance is there, balance will take, the range of balance will be, okay na, the range of balance will be 600 ama, minimum ipudu, minimum balance should be 600 ama, 600 to maximum how much balance you can fetch ma at a time? 50,000 is the limit. Okay, and the balance range, the limit of the range of balance is more here. The range of balance field, what is the balance field range here? More here, 600 to 5,000. Now in order to check with all possible inputs, means what is that meaning here? From starting with, you will check first with the 600 value. Yes, 601 value you will check, it is accepting or not. 600 value, are you able to draw it or not? Okay, and a 602 value, it is able to draw it or not. 700 value, you will draw it or not. 800 value, you will able to withdraw it or not. Okay, it is accepting or not. Able to deposit this amount or not. Okay, how many range? Up to 50,000 you need to check. Each and every value you need to check it here. Up to 50,000. Which value it is not accepting, how you will come to know unless you test each and every value. That's why that is called exhaustive testing. Exhaust avadam ante ma, what is that my meaning? Checking a functionality with all possible inputs, with all possible values from range 600 to 50,000. Each and every value have to be considered, and you need to pass those each and every value into this balance field, and you need to check it is accepting or not. In which value, in which balance value it is giving error, we are getting defect. For that reason, to find that problem, okay nama, exhaustive testing is not possible through manual. Okay, so what is the exhaustive testing ma? When exhaustive testing eppudu possible kaadu, when the range of the inputs is heavy. At that time, checking with the all possible inputs is taking so much of time. ఇక్కడ 500-600 నుంచి 50,000 వాల్యూస్ వరకు ప్రతి వాల్యూ చెక్ చేయాలి. అదే కదమ్మా విత్ ఆల్ పాసిబుల్ ఇన్పుట్స్ అని అంటున్నాం. ఇక్కడ 600 ఇన్పుట్ టు 50,000 వాల్యూస్ వరకు ఒక్కొక్క వాల్యూ పాస్ చేసి చెక్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళాలి. 600 I will pass. అకౌంట్ నెంబర్ ఎంటర్ చేసాము, ఐఎఫ్సి కోడ్ ఎంటర్ చేసాము, 600 బ్యాలెన్స్ ఎంటర్ చేసాము, సబ్మిట్ అన్నాం. Then again you will be testing with the 601 or 700, 800, like this up to the 50,000 values. I mean to say balance values you need to pass and you need to check it how it is working. How it is working. Okay, so that is called exhaustive testing. Each and every value have to be considered. అకౌంట్ నంబర్ కి ఇప్పుడు చూడమ్మా, అకౌంట్ నంబర్ 11 digits. 11 కాంబినేషన్స్ మీరు చెక్ చేసినా మాన్యువల్ గా ఈజీగానే హ్యాండిల్ చేయొచ్చు. ఐఎఫ్ఎస్సి కోడ్ 6 digits. 6 కాంబినేషన్స్ తో మీరు చెక్ చేసినా it is possible to handle manually. But whereas balance range is heavy. Okay, 6,600 to 50,000 balance range is there. To check with each and every possible value with the balance field, it is taking so much of time. Okay, through manually. So that's why ఒకసారి చెక్ చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది. Okay, if you find any defect in this balance, in this application, in this functionality, then what you will do, we need to test again, right? This functionality again. అప్పుడు అగైన్ టెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాము, బ్యాలెన్స్ రేంజ్ ని మళ్ళీ యూ హ్యావ్ టు చెక్ విత్ దిస్ రేంజ్ అగైన్. ఇది రిపీట్ అవుతుంది ఎంతవరకు మీరు ఫైండ్ చేసిన డిఫెక్ట్ ఫిక్స్ అయ్యే వరకు ఈ ప్రాసెస్ అలాగే రిపీట్ అవుతుంది. ఎన్ని టైమ్స్ అని మనం ఈ రేంజ్ ఇలాగే టెస్ట్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్తామా? 600 రేంజ్ నుంచి 50,000 రేంజ్ ఆఫ్ వాల్యూస్ పాస్ చేసి టెస్ట్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళాలి మళ్ళీ. ఇట్ ఈస్ టేకింగ్ సో మచ్ ఆఫ్ టైం. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Exhaustive testing through manually is taking huge resources. So that's why we can achieve this exhaustive testing through automation easily. We will write the code over there to handle this type of huge ranges of fields. Okay, so if you find a defect also, it is able to handle it easily. Why? Because we are just writing the code once and executing a number of times. Okay, in the automation, exhaustive testing is not possible through manually, like regression is also not possible through manually. Okay, for regression, for exhaustive testing, automation help is needed. Why? Because it is taking time here to check with all possible values. It is taking time here when there is a huge range of fields, like a balance. Okay, so that is what exhaustive testing, checking a functionality with all possible inputs, is called as what ma exhaustive testing ani antaru. In this any doubt ma? Why we are going for automation, understood ma? Okay, since it is taking time here. Okay, so for that reason we are taking the help of automation. So can you please tell me, exhaustive testing, is it fine? Checking a functionality with all possible values, inputs and values and okatema, with all combination of values or all possible of values, is called exhaustive testing. To handle the 11 digits of combination values, you can check it manually without any problem. Okay, 10 to 5 to 10 minutes spend chesna, you will complete this account number. Okay, you will complete this account number. Venu Nagareddy ma, yes ma, is my voice not audible?
No ma'am, account number will be there with us and IFSC code is also there with us. But how to check the balance?
అక్కడ కోడింగ్ రాసి పెట్టారు మా, బ్యాలెన్స్ రేంజ్ ఇస్తారు కదమ్మా. డెవలపర్స్ కోడ్ చేసేటప్పుడు రేంజెస్ అసైన్ చేస్తారు. ఓకే, సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యూజర్ నేమ్ ఈస్ దేర్. యూజర్ నేమ్ రేంజ్ ఏంటిమా? మ్యాక్స్ అంటే 20 క్యారెక్టర్స్ అలౌ చేస్తారు. మీ జీమెయిల్ అకౌంట్ నెంబర్ ఉందమ్మా అట్లీస్ట్? Okay, username will be there, password will be there, right? Have you tried how many characters should allowed that username ani try chestara okkara gamaninchara? Check that once. Username password ki inni characters allow cheyali, password lo kuda inni characters plus ee symbols allow cheyali ani untundi. Okay na? Alage ఎస్, అలాగే అకౌంట్ నంబర్ కి కూడా రేంజ్ ఉంటుంది. 11 digits. బియాండ్ ద 11 digits నో అకౌంట్ నంబర్ ఇస్ దేర్ నా. ఇఫ్ ఇస్ దేర్ ఎనీ ఆర్బీఐ అకౌంట్ కి, ఎస్బీఐ అకౌంట్ కి ఐఎఫ్ఎస్సి కోడ్ 6 digits మా. అవునా? బ్యాలెన్స్ మా, బ్యాలెన్స్ కి రేంజ్ ఎంత అవుతుంది? ద రేంజ్ ఆఫ్ మినిమం ఈజ్ 600 to 50,000 అనమాట. సో ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు చెక్ ది 600 to 50,000 values, each and every value have to be covered. It is taking more time, right? Okay, manually it is taking more time to check each and every possible value. That's what here. So exhaustive testing ante enti checking a functionality with all possible values. 11 combinations తో మీరు IFSC code account number check చేయొచ్చు within 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But IFSC code 8 digits 6 digits కాబట్టి 6 combinations మీరు check చేయొచ్చు. Whereas balance ma ఇంత range use range ఉన్నప్పుడు it is taking the time. It is taking the time taking. So that's why telling exhaustive testing is not possible through manually. Why? Because when there is a case of huge ranges, when we need to check with all combination of values, then it is taking time. At that time, we will write the code and the automation help we will take. Okay. So that's the thing. So this is what exhaustive testing ante. Yes, right, ma? Now, where is that? That is what exhaustive testing ma. Now end-to-end testing means end-to-end testing ante overall requirements ni test cheyadamma. Overall requirements ni test cheste kanaka end-to-end testing ani antaru. System testing is also called as end-to-end testing ma. Okay, both including both functionalities and non-functionalities is called as what ma? End-to-end testing. Okay, so here where we went here. So 1 minute. Yes, please. End-to-end testing means both each and every requirement have to be covered. What ma? GUI testing have to be done. Non-functionality testing have to be done. Okay, functionality testing have to be done. Every requirement, no, without missing any requirement of the client. Okay, if you test like that, then it is called as end-to-end testing ani antaru. Okay, now without leaving any requirement. Why? Because the release is faster, nama. Some requirements will be left which is not having the priority one. So that's why end-to-end testing ante when we have to prefer the end-to-end testing means when we have a sufficient time. When we have a sufficient time, then only we will conduct end-to-end testing. Okay, so that is what end-to-end means, covering each and every requirement without missing it. Okay, that is called as end-to-end testing. Okay, nama. So when the end-to-end testing can be possible, when we have a sufficient time, then only we can conduct each and every requirement testing here. Okay, now coming to ad hoc testing ma. The last one, 8th one is ad hoc testing here. Ad hoc testing eppudu end-to-end testing eppudu when we have the sufficient time. Whereas ad hoc testing eppudu ante ma when we don't have a sufficient time, within a short duration of time, if you want to test it and release it, at that time random ga test cheste kanaka, then it is called as ad hoc testing. Randomly checking the functionalities. Okay na, checking the functionalities and non-functionalities, then it is called as ad hoc testing. Random ga test cheste kanaka ad hoc testing ani antaru. Ishtam vachinatlu antaru kada ma. So that is called as ad hoc testing. Okay, enduku ishtam vachinatlu ante due to lack of time, I am telling here. So due to lack of time, instead of testing all the modules, testing main modules of the application, what is needed one only, then it is called randomly and mention changing main modules of the application randomly. Okay, then it is called as what ma? Ad hoc testing. Without following any procedure properly, without following any proper documentations, direct ga ma time ledu. Okay na, there is no sufficient time. If we follow the testing, if we conduct the testing means, then it is called as ad hoc testing. If you do the ad hoc testing means, then at last we will be finding more number of defects. Okay, after release also. So random testing should not be done. Okay, see here. In random testing, due to lack of time, under ad hoc testing, testers will going to perform below type of testings. What are those means? Buddy testing, pair testing, explorative, monkey. Okay, so see here, buddy testing means, what is this buddy testing? Due to lack of time, kada, what we will do here, the testers will communicate with the developers from day one onwards. Enduko communicate cheyali from day one onwards means, so that we can understand the functionalities which is coded by the developer thoroughly, based on what requirements they have developed, so that we can, after communication, then only we can test it faster. to release it faster. So why? Because there is no time here. So due to lack of time, what we are doing here, we are communicating with the development team from starting onwards so that we can understand that functionality clearly, so that we can test it faster. That is the purpose of buddy testing, and release it faster. Okay, so that is called buddy testing. Due to lack of time, testing team can join with the development team to continue the development and the testing parallelly to complete as soon as possible is called buddy testing. Okay, ma? As soon as possible, if we want to complete it, what we have to do means from day one onwards, we have to communicate with the developer. Okay, how this functionality is being developed. Okay, if you communicate with the developer, then you can have some idea, then we can test it accordingly and release it accordingly. That is called buddy testing. Now pair testing, ma. Due to lack of time, pair testing means within the testing team, you are forming as a group. Okay, we will be forming as a group within the testing team and sharing the knowledge how to test those functionalities which are developed by the developers and trying to complete it as soon as possible. That is called as pair testing. Okay, pair testing means due to lack of time, testing team will combine as a pair or group and perform the testing on the project. Okay, by sharing the knowledge on the project and on the functionalities and on the requirements, then conduct the testing. That is called as pair testing. Buddy testing, pair testing are following proper documentations, ma. Okay, so no problem in buddy testing and pair testing. They are trying to test it faster here. Okay, either by communicating with the developer from day one onwards, or okay, within the testing team, they are forming as a group and communicating within the team, and they are trying to test it accordingly faster. That is the reason of buddy testing and pair testing. Now, explorative testing. Explore chestu due to lack of skills or due to lack of time and lack of skills. Without knowing the requirements, we cannot test it. So that's why at the time of testing, if we explore ourselves with the help of search engines, like Google, and interacting with the lead and referring project documentations, and then if we test it accordingly, then it is called as explorative testing. మన వైపు మనము ఎక్స్ప్లోర్ చేసుకుంటూ టెస్ట్ చేస్తే కనుక వాటిని ఏమంటామా ఎక్స్ప్లోరేటివ్ టెస్టింగ్ అని అంటారు. ఓకేనా? సో దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఎక్స్ప్లోరేటివ్ టెస్టింగ్. డ్యూ టు ల్యాక్ ఆఫ్ స్కిల్స్, ఎక్స్ప్లోర్ నాలెడ్జ్ ఆన్ using search engines and by interacting with the seniors or verifying the project related documentations. Requirement documents will be there, na? And then work on the project. That is called as explorative testing. Okay, what we will be doing here, we will be exploring ourselves, how to test it, what are the requirements thoroughly, then only conducting the testing is called explorative testing. Okay, ma. And now coming to monkey testing now. Monkey testing enti ma? We won't follow anything.
Exploratory testing is we need lack of skills to test, ma'am.
Yes, ma. When the tester doesn't know about the requirements clearly, any meaning. When the tester doesn't know about the requirements and the functionalities also clearly, then what we will do, we will definitely take the help of search engines. Google refer chestamu. What is the purpose of this functionality? Okay, if mobile functionality is there, at that time they will specify the specifications, right? Mobile specifications will be there. At that time, as a tester, it is not mandatory that mobile ki specifications undala kada ani cheppi. How he will confirm? He will also explore from himself. Okay, he will try searching for that mobile specifications. Is it correctly or not? And take the requirements of the client also. Okay, and then communicate with the developer also. And meanwhile, you are also exploring yourself. Okay, about that what they have developed the software. Okay, that is called as explorative testing. Okay, in everything, in every functionality, in every testing time, we have to explore ourselves. Okay, that is what my explorative testing ante. Now, what is this ma? Last one, monkey testing. No, there is no sufficient time, right? Ad hoc testing antene eppudu conduct chestunnaru? No sufficient time. At the time of lack of time or at the time of there is no sufficient time, then ad hoc testing. In the ad hoc testing, monkey testing is there. What is that means? Without following any proper documentations, okay, without communicating, without having the knowledge on the requirements, directly jumping on the functionalities and testing it. ఓకే, ఐ విల్ టెస్ట్ అని చెప్పి టెస్ట్ చేయడం. ఓకేనా, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ as monkey testing without following anything properly. Then if you conduct testing directly, why? Because there is no time, we need to release it faster. Functionalities kada ఎంతసేపు టెస్ట్ చేయడం అని చెప్పి టెస్ట్ చేస్తే కనుక then it will break the system. అంటే at the last, after release, you will finding failure only. Okay, the software will get failure only. Okay, that type of testing you should not do. What is that type of testing? Monkey testing is not recommended. Okay, so that is what in incremental, in that also, which is that integration testing lo kuda non-incremental integration testing is there na, without following a proper flow. If you conduct the testing means that will also break the failure only will come. Here monkey testing also. Okay, without following any process, if you conduct, if you directly start the testing means it will break the system, means it will failure, it will get failure. So this is what ad hoc testing ante. So here buddy, pair, explorative, they are following properly here. But whereas monkey testing, what is happening? Because of lack of time now, they are directly jumping into the functionalities and trying to test it. That should not be done, Nani. Okay, nama. So random ka test cheyadam. Okay, now, so that is called as monkey testing. Okay, ma. So this is what ad hoc testing. Yes, ma. Any doubt in this, ma? When a new functionality is developed by the developer, based on the requirement, okay, we will be exploring from ourselves why this functionality is this. Okay, what is this functionality meaning? We will be exploring, okay, with that we will take the help of Google only at that time. Okay, what we are doing there with the help of Google, what we are doing there, we are exploring about the functionalities what they have developed. Okay, so that is called explorative testing. So in one interview they asked what is explorative testing. Okay, ma. So that is what explorative testing ante. Monkey testing also he asked in one interview. Monkey and explorative. Buddy, pair antaga ledu ma. Attend aina interviews la varaku these two testing they used to ask. Monkey testing and explorative testing. This is what ad hoc testing ante. Yes, ma. Build, Sureka, you were absent, ma. Build is nothing but the developed and executed URL is called as build. In general, we will be calling as a URL, right? Uniform Resource Locator ani. Kali ikkada enti ma, developed in the IT companies we will be calling like a build. Okay, www.google.com. What is that one? Google.com. The developed for project yoka URL. Okay, that is called as build. Yes, ma, URL la emantamante build ani antamu. The developed functionalities is called as URL. Okay, so this is what ma. Understood, ma? Developed software is called as build ani antam. Okay. Yes, ma. 1 minute. Now the last one, ma, sanity testing. We are left with the sanity testing here. Why? Because regression avalan cheppi sanity cheppaledu. Okay. So sanity means, here see ma. Sanity testing is used to determine the changes or the functionality are working as per expected or not, the same thing, ma. But what we are doing is here, once a defect is fixed by the developer, okay, either we are doing retesting or regression, right? After developer is fixed those defects, okay. Once we get the modified build from the developer, what we are doing, either we are doing retesting or regression testing. We can do sanity testing also. When means the release is, there is no time for release. Okay, tomorrow is the release, suppose I am telling. Tomorrow is the release, okay, and we got the, what we are doing now. Instead of checking overall functionalities, what we will do, we will check the main functionalities only. Okay, na ma. Anni functionalities check cheskuntu kuchodaniki tomorrow release ante it is not possible. At that time, what we will do, the main functionalities will be there inside the software. Those main functionalities correct ga work avutunnaya leda ani check cheskoni release chestam. That is called as sanity testing. Okay, it is performed only after the software product has passed the smoke test and the QA team has accepted for further testing. Yes, ma. Smoke test అయిన తర్వాత and further testing చేసేటప్పుడు okay, and there is no time. At that time, what we will do? We will test only the main functionalities working or not, and then we will say for release. That is called as sanity testing. Testing only the main functionalities. Testing only the main functionalities is called as sanity testing. Okay, Nama. So that's the thing. Okay. Now see the differences between smoke and sanity. Madam, main functionalities ఏంటి madam? Yes, ma. In e-commerce application, what will be the main functionality, ma? In e-commerce application, what will be the main functionality? Login functionality. Okay, and then in every application, login will be the main functionality only. Login aitene you can access those pages. Okay, and then ma, inside that what happens, ma? Book a product, ma. Right? In e-commerce application, ordering a product. అవునా మా కాదా? Billing, payment gateway, main functionality. If the payment gateway is not working properly, are we able to book that product? If that button, what is that button? Book a product, order a product. If that functionality is not working, are you able to book a product? Okay, nama. Wish list ఏముంది? మీరు wish list చేయొచ్చు, చేయకపోవచ్చు. It is not a main functionality. But ordering a product is the main functionality. Payment gateway is the main functionality. Inka enti ma? If any transaction fails.
Search.
Okay, na?
Search.
Cheppandi. Ama? Search option. Relating that won't comes under kadama. Searching istunda leda kadu. Main functionalities చెప్తున్నాను. ఇవి కదా main functionalities. అవునా? Transaction get fails. Are you able to get back those transactions or not? Okay, that is also main functionality. ఇలా సాఫ్ట్వేర్ లో మెయిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, సో వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ రిసీవ్ ఎ మోడిఫైడ్ బిల్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ఆఫ్టర్ మేకింగ్ చేంజెస్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డెవలపర్, okay, what we will do, either we will be doing retesting or regression. Okay, at that place, when we receive a modified build from the developer, if there is no time, what I am telling, if there is no time, instead of regression, I am telling, instead of regression, not retesting, I am telling. Regression ante enti, overall functionalities ni including defect check cheyadam. Whereas sanity ante enti, whenever you receive a modified build, when there is no sufficient time, instead of regression, okay, you will check the main functionalities working or not. Okay, that is also called as sanity testing. Main functionalities ni overall definition lo enti ma sanity testing ante, checking the main functionalities of the application is called sanity testing. When there is no enough time, that is called sanity testing. Okay, and all our Zomato, okay ma, Uber, what all those ma, and there book a cab is the main functionality. Avana ma, mapping, okay na ma, the address mapping, how it is working ma, that is also main functionality. If the address mapping is not working properly, okay ma, so what happens ma now? It will, how they will locate the users. If it is not working properly, that is also main functionality. Like this, a number of main functionalities will be there in that so and so software. Okay, now checking only those main functionalities working or not is called sanity. Eppudu only main functionalities consider cheyali anedi point. When, see here, during the release phase, in the difference, see here, smoky sanity ki first difference lo, itu sanity testing lo refer cheyandi. First point, sanity test is done eppudu during the release phase to check for the main functionalities of the application without going deeper, without considering overall the functionalities. Okay, checking only the main functionalities working or not. Okay, at the time of release phase, so that we can say give the permission, it is working properly, we can release it. At that time, checking only the main functionalities working properly or not is called sanity testing. Okay, so there is a now in the interview they are asking the differences between smoke versus sanity. Smoke versus the sanity. You know that ma, smoke testing enti, checking whether the build is stable or not. Okay, that is called smoke testing. This is the first testing, right? Smoke testing is done to make sure whether the build what we received from the development team is stable or not. ఫర్దర్ టెస్టింగ్ కి ఈ మనకు వచ్చిన బిల్డ్ ఓకేనమ్మా ఆర్ యు ఏబుల్ టు డూ ఫర్దర్ టెస్టింగ్స్ ఆర్ నాట్ కన్ఫర్మేషన్ చేసేది స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ తోనే. అవును కదమ్మా, అందుకే స్మోక్
బిల్డ్
టెస్టింగ్
అంటే మనం ఇచ్చిన సోర్స్ కూడా
Bhargavi, if you miss the classes like this only ma, okay, the situation will be like this only. Okay, so please don't miss the classes, and I am not able to take a backup also. Okay, so build means what ma, develop chesina so functionalities oka URL, develop chesina functionalities, execute chesina functionalities oka URL is called build. ఓకే, వన్స్ ద డెవలప్మెంట్ ఇస్ కంప్లీటెడ్ బై ద డెవలప్మెంట్ టీమ్, ఆ యూఆర్ఎల్ అనేది మనకి ఇస్తారు. ఆ యూఆర్ఎల్ అనే పదం యూజ్ చేయము, బిల్డ్ అని చెప్తాము. ఓకేనా, దట్ ఇస్ వాట్ ఇన్ జనరలీ యూ విల్ బి యూజింగ్ ఫోల్డర్ అని, ఓకే, యూఆర్ఎల్ అని. బట్ వెల్కమ్ టు ద సాఫ్ట్వేర్ మా, ఫోల్డర్ ని ఏమంటామంటే ప్యాకేజెస్ అని అంటాము. ఓకే, సో ఇలాంటివి టర్మ్స్ డిఫరెంట్ గా ఉంటాయి. Yes, in Agile process also we have seen that the folders is also called as user stories. ఇప్పుడు nowadays user stories అని అంటున్నారు, folders అని అన్నారు. Okay, so like that URL ని ఏమంటామంటే build అని అంటాం. Yes ma, smoke test, you know the smoke test right ma, checking the basic functionalities, checking whether the build what we received is stable or not is called smoke testing. Sanity testing ante enti ma, sanity testing is used to check the main functionality is working properly or not at the time of release phase sir, is called sanity testing అని అంటారు. ఓవరాల్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ చెక్ చేయము, ఓవరాల్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ చెక్ చేసేది రిగ్రెషన్. అందుకే sanity testing is a part of regression అని అంటారు మా. sanity testing is a part of regression testing. ఎందుకు అంటే మా, tomorrow is the release, okay, and if we got the modified build at that time, instead of regression overall functionalities check చేయకుండా, okay, what you will do, main functionalities మాత్రమే చెక్ చేస్తే కనుక that is called sanity అంటున్నాను. ఓకేనా, సో నైట్ అవుట్ చేసినా కూడా ఓవరాల్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ టెస్ట్ చేయడానికి ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ సో మచ్ ఆఫ్ టైం టుమారో రిలీజ్ అంటే కనుక. సో దట్స్ వై మెయిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ ని చెక్ చేసుకొని రిలీజ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. వాటిని ఏమంటామంటే సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ అని అంటారు. ఓకే, దట్స్ వై ఐ హావ్ క్లియర్లీ మెన్షన్ ఇన్ ద పాయింట్ సీ హియర్ వితౌట్ గోయింగ్ డీపర్ అని మెన్షన్ చేస్తున్నాను. ఓకేనా, సో హూ విల్ పర్ఫార్మ్ ద స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ మా, హూ విల్ పర్ఫార్మ్ ద స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్, డెవలపర్ అండ్ ఆల్సో ద టెస్టర్. వై మా డెవలపర్ అండ్ ఆల్సో ద టెస్టర్ అని? Why? Because before assigning the build to the testing team, development team will verify once whether the build is correct or not అని, కరెక్టా కాదని చెక్ చేసుకుని ఇస్తారు. ఓకేనా, సో దట్స్ వై ఇన్ స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ బోత్ విల్ ఇన్వాల్వ్. ఓకే, డెవలపర్స్ వెరిఫై చేసుకుని ఇస్తారు, అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ గెటింగ్ ఏ బిల్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డెవలప్మెంట్ టీమ్ we will check whether it is correct or not, stable or not. Means testers also testing the smoke testing. Okay na, so that's why who will get involved in smoke testing means both developers and testers anima. Okay, whereas sanity testing ever perform chestaru, only the testing team. Sanity will be performing only the testers only, not the డెవలపర్స్ ఎందుకు టెస్ట్ చేస్తారు, మా మెయిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ వర్క్ అవుతున్నాయా లేదా అని మనం కదా వాలిడేట్ చేసేది. ఓకే, సో దట్స్ వై వన్స్ వి రిసీవ్ ద బిల్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డెవలపర్, సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ విల్ బి కండక్టెడ్ బై టెస్టర్స్ ఓన్లీ. ఓకే, అనదర్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఆఫ్ స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ మా స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ లో బిల్డ్ అనేది స్టేబుల్ గా ఉండొచ్చు ఆర్ మే నాట్, అంతే కదమ్మా, అదే కదమ్మా చెక్ చేస్తున్నాము బిల్డ్ స్టేబులా కాదా అని. సో దట్స్ వై ఇన్ స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ బిల్డ్ మే బి ఎయిదర్ స్టేబుల్ ఆర్ అన్స్టేబుల్. ఓకే, అండ్ సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ వచ్చేసరికి మా సానిటీ దగ్గరికి వెళ్తున్నది ఎప్పుడు వెళ్తున్నాము, సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ లో సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ ఎప్పుడు కండక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము, ఆఫ్టర్ స్మోక్ టెస్ట్ పాస్ అయితేనే కదా, స్మోక్ టెస్ట్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్ గా అయితేనే రిమైనింగ్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ టెస్టింగ్, అంతే కదమ్మా. సో ఆ రిమైనింగ్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ టెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఓన్లీ మెయిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ టెస్ట్ చేసేది సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్, ఎప్పుడు కండక్ట్ చేయాలి సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్, బిల్డ్ స్టేబుల్ అయిన వాటిపైన సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్, రిమైనింగ్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ టెస్టింగ్ కండక్ట్ చేస్తారు. అవునా, సో దట్ ఈస్ అనదర్ డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ స్మోక్ అండ్ సానిటీ. స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ విల్ బి done on stable or unstable builds. ఓకే, అండ్ అట్ ద టైమ్ ఆఫ్ సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ బిల్డ్ అనేది స్టేబుల్ గా ఉంటేనే సానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ చేస్తారు. ఓకే. అండ్ మా స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ ఎప్పుడు కండక్ట్ చేస్తారు? ఎవ్రీ టైమ్. స్మోక్ టెస్ట్ ఎప్పుడు కండక్ట్ చేస్తారు మా? స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ విల్ బి పర్ఫార్మ్డ్ ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ when we receive a build from the developer. Yes ma, whenever we receive a build from the developer, at that time we will be conducting smoke testing. మాడిఫై చేసిన బిల్డ్ ఇస్తారు కదా, డిఫెక్ట్ ఫిక్స్ చేసిన తర్వాత మాడిఫై చేసిన బిల్డ్ ఇస్తారు కదా మనకి, అప్పుడు కూడా స్మోక్ టెస్ట్ పర్ఫార్మ్ చేస్తారు. ఓకేనా? అంటే ఏంటి మీనింగ్? ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ వెన్ వి రిసీవ్ ఎ బిల్డ్, ఎదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ న్యూ బిల్డ్ ఆర్ మోడిఫైడ్ బిల్డ్, ఓకేనా, అట్ దట్ టైమ్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు టెస్ట్ ఫస్ట్ టెస్టింగ్, దట్ ఈస్ స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్. ఓకేనమ్మా? వేరే శానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ ఎప్పుడు కండక్ట్ చేస్తారు? శానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ will be performed on the stabled bill. Stable అయిన బిల్స్ పైనే. ఓకే, స్టేబుల్డ్ బిల్స్ పైనే. అంటే స్మోక్ టెస్ట్ పాస్ అయ్యి ఉండాలి. దాని తర్వాత శానిటీ టెస్టింగ్, రిమైనింగ్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ టెస్టింగ్ కండక్ట్ చేస్తారు. దట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ హియర్. ఓకే. అండ్ మా స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ ఈజ్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ బేసిక్ టెస్టింగ్. అవును కదమ్మా, బేసిక్ టెస్టింగ్ ఈజ్ ద స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ కదా. ఫస్ట్ టెస్టింగ్ ఈజ్ ద స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్. అండ్ sanity testing is the part of regression. I am saying 1 minute ma, I will be telling ma here sanity testing lo ma, it is a part of regression ani annaru. Ade kada cheptunnanu. Okay, when there is no time, okay, tomorrow is the release. Instead of regression testing, regression means overall functionality test cheyadam kante kuda, okay, at that time main functionalities check cheskunte kanaka sanity testing ani antaru kada. So that's why it is a part of regression testing ani antaru. Okay na? Instead of checking overall functionalities, if there is no time, we will check the main functionalities only. That is called as sanity testing. So that's why it is a part of regression testing. Okay. Yes ma'am. So that is why it is called as a part of regression testing. Now, yes ma, it is a part of basic testing. Edi smoke testing is a part of basic testing. Sanity testing is a part of regression testing ani antaru. Okay, so this is what ma, and ee differences ikkada mention chesanu. See here the diagram. On the initial of the bills, ఎప్పుడైతే మనకు కొత్త బిల్ వస్తుందో వాట్ మా డెవలపర్ నుంచి, ఆ బిల్డ్ స్టేబుల్ గా ఉండొచ్చు, అన్స్టేబుల్ గా ఉండొచ్చు, ఉండకపోవచ్చు. ఓకేనా? కరెక్ట్ గా ఉండొచ్చు, ఉండకపోవచ్చు. సో దట్స్ వై ఆన్ ద స్టేబుల్ ఆర్ అన్స్టేబుల్ పైన స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ కండక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము అని. ఓకేనా? సో దట్స్ వై దిస్ ఇస్ అ పాయింట్ హియర్. స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ బిల్డ్ మే బి ఐదర్ స్టేబుల్ ఆర్ అన్స్టేబుల్. థర్డ్ పాయింట్. అవునమ్మా? సో దట్స్ వాట్ ఇన్ ద డయాగ్రామ్ ఆల్సో. స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ విల్ బి కండక్టెడ్ ఆన్ స్టేబుల్ ఆర్ అన్స్టేబుల్ బిల్స్. కరెక్ట్ గా ఉండొచ్చు, ఉండకపోవచ్చు. Okay, if the smoke test, during smoke testing, if the smoke test is passed, then it is going to test in detail testing, system testing or regression testing perform చేస్తారు. ఓకేనా? అండ్ ఇట్స్ sanity testing ఎప్పుడు కండక్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు? ఆఫ్టర్ ద బిల్డ్ ఈజ్ స్టేబుల్ అయిన బిల్స్ పైన sanity testing కండక్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఓకే, సో వన్స్ ద sanity testing is pass, అంటే if it is successfully done, then you can go and release it. Okay, main functionalities test cheskoni, if it is done successfully, then if there is a time, then you will do in detail. If there is no time, you will release it. If sanity testing is failed, అంటే మెయిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ వర్క్ కాలేదు, అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తారు మా, బిల్డ్ ని రిజెక్ట్ చేసేస్తారు ఇమ్మీడియట్లీ. ఓకే, రిలీజ్ చేసే పర్మిషన్స్ ఇవ్వరు. ఓకే, మెయిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ వర్క్ కావట్లేదు అంటే దాన్ని ఇమ్మీడియట్లీ బిల్డ్ ని రిజెక్ట్ చేసేస్తారు, డెవలపర్ కి అసైన్ చేస్తారు. ఓకేనా? సో ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ డిఫెక్ట్ అని చెప్పి బిల్డ్ రిజెక్ట్ చేస్తారు. అండ్ స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్ కూడా పాస్ అవ్వకపోతే కనుక ఇమ్మీడియట్లీ బిల్డ్ ని రిజెక్ట్ చేసేస్తారు. ఓకేనా? సో దిస్ ఇస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ స్మోక్ అండ్ శానిటీ. స్మోక్ కి శానిటీకి. Okay ma, so this is what my, if you have any doubt please tell me. Smoke test, sanity testing. So in the interview they are asking the questions from what is smoke, what is sanity. Okay, what is retesting, what is regression testing. Okay ma, next what is that ma? Exhaustive testing. exhaustive testing with a different combination of inputs is called exhaustive testing. And ఈ అడాప్ట్ టెస్టింగ్ లో నుంచి మంకీ ఎక్స్ప్లోరేటివ్, దీస్ క్వశ్చన్స్ frequently they are going to ask, they are asking. Okay, so that's why any type of testing, testing, input domain testing, every type what we have mentioned here in functional testing, every type is important. First testing is smoke testing only. Build verify చేసుకుంటాం correct stable ఆ కాదా అని, so that we can proceed with the further testings in detail. Okay, and sanity testing లో ఎప్పుడు once the build is stable, okay, and instead of checking overall functionality, checking only the main functionalities, how it is working. If it is working properly, then safe for release, otherwise no. Okay, build ni reject చేసేసేయాలి. Okay, now positive negative testing, checking a functionality with valid and invalid inputs. Retesting, checking only the defected functionality again and again, is called regression, checking not only the defected functionality, overall functionality. Okay, checking overall functionality along with the defected functionality అని చెప్పండి. Okay, that is called regression testing. Checking what all the data you are storing inside the database are correctly correctly inserted or not, correctly deleted or not, correctly updated or not. To check that is called database testing. Okay, so now exhaustive testing, checking a functionality with all combination of values is called exhaustive testing. Okay, end-to-end testing means checking the software with all the requirements without leaving any requirement. We will prefer this end-to-end testing when we have sufficient time. When there is a short duration of time, end-to-end testing చేయట్లేదు ఇప్పుడు. Okay na? So based on the requirement the client is given, on that requirement we are testing the main things and we are releasing it. Okay, so that is called end-to-end testing. Ad-hoc testing is when there is no sufficient time. At that time, how you are going to test it means you are communicating with the development team and trying to test it accordingly. You are forming a group within the testing team, you are communicating within the testing team and trying to release it faster. And you are trying to explore by yourself and trying to test it. And without following anything, any procedure, any documentations, then it is called monkey testing. Okay, so this is what types of functional testing. Any doubt here? Database testing ఏం లేదు మా, what all the data
రిట్రీవల్ అన్నారు కదా ఒకసారి.
రిట్రైవల్ అంటే ఏంటి మా? గెటింగ్ ద డేటా డేటాబేస్ లో నుంచి. ఓకేనా, మీ ఎలా వస్తున్నాయి మా ఆ రిజల్ట్స్ అనే డేటాబేస్ లో నుంచి, స్టూడెంట్స్ అనే డేటాబేస్ లో నుంచి వాట్ ఆల్ ద రిజల్ట్స్ దే హావ్ స్టోర్డ్. ఓకేనా, మీ రిలేటెడ్ డేటానే మీరు కావాలన్నప్పుడు కరెక్ట్ గా డిస్ప్లే అవుతుందా లేదా, అదర్ రిలేటెడ్ డేటా వస్తుందా? ఓకేనా, that is called as retrieval operation. Getting the data which is from the database is called as retrieval. Related data ne ostunda leda, we are able to fetch related data or not. Other than the requested data, if it is getting means, what is that? It is not working properly. Fine, right ma? I will end the class now. Okay.